Welcome to HD Nation, your guide to the best in HD content and the best in home theater gear, no matter what your budget is. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Robert Heron.
We have got a lot of great stuff coming up in today's show, especially since the Olympics over. You wept.
I am sad that I don't have this daily feed of just awesome sports content.
You recorded, what, 100 hours of Olympics?
Everything that NBC essentially broadcast throughout the entire Olympic Games, I recorded in my over-the-air DVR. And it added up quickly. Day in and day out, about, I don't know, 8 hours of programming a day. Awesome stuff, though. Good times.
It's kind of funny. The Super Bowl is over, the Olympics are over, and 2014 prices are hitting the street. The crew at HD Guru are beating price leaks out of major manufacturers, and this is really cool. They have information from Panasonic, from Samsung, from LG, and with the 2013 models running out, this means the 2014 models are coming, and it's probably a great time to buy.
Looking through the list on their website, Panasonic, they're bringing out DisplayPort 1.2a in their brand new THX 4K certified AX800 series television. This is going to be one of their flagship TVs, of course, but...
Does that mean like 60 hertz refresh rates?
Not only is HDMI 2.0 with 60 hertz input, but they also have DisplayPort built into the TV, which is something I really didn't think I'd see for 2014 from anyone yet. That is a connection that has kind of always been able to do 4K at 60 hertz input. In addition to that, the AX800 is also going to have something I'm looking forward to checking out, is 98% of the DCI color spec, which goes beyond the current spec for HDTV color, but it's an actual spec that can be, calibrated to. So hopefully we're finally getting to a point where we may actually have a standard that can enable more color, richer colors, more accurate colors in a larger palette.
Well, it's closer to what your eyeball can actually see.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, look, 58-inch model. These are not inexpensive TVs. The 58-inch model is going to start at $4,500. There's also the AS650 and AS530 models in there. Samsung is coming out strong. The new 1080p resolution model should provide excellent performance and value compared to the flagship 4K screens. Not that they're not bad, not that the 4K screens aren't bad, just that the 4K, if you look at Samsung's webpage,
well, they have the HU9000 series as their top of the line that's coming out. $4 to $8 grand if you want to go for that 70-inch model that'll be coming out soon. And these will be the premium models. I mean, a step down will be the UH8550, which will get you similar technology at prices or from sizes from 50 to 75 inches in about the what are they talking about, $25,000 to $6,000 range. But again, we're talking high performance. Perfect image quality from this company. So.
The 9000 series, especially the 65-inch HDTV, looks absolutely gorgeous. But it's a $4,500 television.
Well, they've got they have a 110-inch version of that now too. LG was another company that really caught my eye in terms of what HD Guru had leaked out. They have a new LB 7100 and 7200 series, which bring 240 hertz refresh rate, along with what I'm looking forward to checking out in person will be full array local dimming technology for what should be beautifully contrasted imagery from these sets. We're looking at screen sizes from 55 to 70 inches, 1080p resolution and price points from $1,400 to $2,800. Between this and I have to say Vizio's lineup for affordable full array local dimming technology, I think this is going to be a pretty good year to see some impressive displays for LCD technology, especially given that Panasonic's left plasma.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to checking out their flagship lines.
And look, if you would have spent all the money on a 4K TV, 65-inch 4K TV, that's great. But if you only have $1,000 or $1,500, you are going to get some unbelievably beautiful screen for your money this year.
Without a doubt.
And by next year, OLED screens are going to be cheap. I feel it. I feel it right here.
I don't.
Yeah, well.
It'd be cheaper.
Which is why I have a projector at home, and it doesn't matter if you spend $300,000 or $30,000 on a new projector. Ceiling mounts protect your projector investment by keeping out of the reach of curious hands, especially small ones or drunk ones, and accidental contact, and I've mentioned drunk hands. But more importantly, it's about getting the best image quality from a projector, and that is all about location.
It really is. Where you put the projector in the room is going to help determine how good your optics are going to be able to perform.
If you are a traveling salesman, use the feet on the bottom of the projector because you're taking it from place to place to place to place. If you want a decent looking movie experience or television experience in your home, bolt the SOB down and bolt it up to the ceiling.
Get it in the right spot.
Yeah.
The ideal location for a projector is one where it's imagery. When you're shining it at the wall or the screen you have set up, it'll completely fill that space without distorting. That's the big key. And it'll do so without having to enable any of the digital keystone correction features. Now, when we talk about what is the ideal imagery, it will be a perfect square that comes out of that projector. You have a projector that's shooting out a rectangle of light, and you want that rectangle to appear square.
Well,
without tweaking anything.
You have a beautiful screen on your page that discusses keystoning.
Keystone correction. Now, in this case, looking at this top demonstration right here, this is if you had, say, the projector up high and aiming down at an angle.
Right.
The top edge is going to be shorter than the bottom edge. And likewise, if you went to correct that with the digital correction built in, if you look carefully, you'll actually see the imager on the projector darken part of the pixel structure in order to create what looks like a square image by sacrificing, well, this dark section right here. Also, with horizontal keystone correction, which you don't see as frequently on projectors, you could say if you were off axis from the center line of the projector screen, you could then enable horizontal keystone correction, which would then sacrifice some of the top and bottom parts of the imager, or the chip itself, or whatever's creating the pixels, in order to basically create a square-looking image. The problem with either of those methods is that by enabling even one step of it, you are effectively killing half the resolution of whatever it is that you're going to be shining out of that projector. Now, projectors with horizontal and vertical lens shifting, that's the way to go. That makes placement so much easier in terms of where you do setup. Now, if you have a projector that doesn't offer any kind of lens shifting, and what the heck is lens shifting anyway, well, then you really want to focus on what your position is in terms of mounting it. The benefit of lens shift system, especially with the higher end projectors, is that as long as the projector is parallel to the screen surface itself, it can actually be shifted left or right for horizontal lens shifting, and the image is still able to remain square because you're just doing a simple adjustment with the lens itself. Now for up and down, again, very similar in terms of as long as the projector is parallel to the screen surface, you're able to reposition that projector in a much wider range just by simply adjusting the lens itself to do that. Now, projectors with fixed lens designs will require, probably if you're going to mount it to the ceiling, extra distance from the ceiling to avoid keystoning issues, really. A lot of mount designs to choose from when you're talking about getting that done. And when you're choosing a projector, if you need to get it away from the screen more, you would go with something like this. It would be a mount that incorporates basically an adjustable bar that brings it off the surface of the ceiling and gets it down further into that sweet spot where the projector needs to be in order to create that square image that you're looking for. Now, all projectors also, if you didn't know this, they can be inverted, basically, and when you're trying to get the best image quality out of a projector, moving it as close as possible to the screen will enable a brighter image than it would be if it's further away. Also, for your screen setup too, that black border around the edge of the screen is important for basically creating a more perceived contrasted image, or bumping up the contrast in terms of how you actually see it on the screen. It'd look better than if it didn't have that.
So we've showed this before. This calculator is available on several websites, but projectorcentral.com is a good place to go. If you're thinking about buying a projector, load up the calculator, the projection calculator on here. So a bunch of stuff's going on in this. So you're a home theater watchers, you want video or games. You want to figure out what the distance you're going to be using it is. If you have a 19-foot living room, I am jealous. But what it's going to give you an idea of...
Shows you where the lens setup will work in.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of funny. The farther the throw distance, or the farther away it is from a screen, essentially the less light, the same amount of light is hitting a larger amount of screen area, and you start having trouble in bright rooms. The sweet spot on this is 18 to 20.
And notice they even have the mount for ceiling or floor, so you can actually switch that back and forth to get an idea of how that projector is going to work within your environment. If you have a fixed screen size, that projector is even more useful, because then you just fix the screen size, and then that tells you approximately how far you're going to have the projector away from the screen to fill it properly.
Exactly, and it's kind of funny. If you set this projector up on the floor, you're probably not actually going to be able to use it, because the way it is engineered, this particular Optoma, which is the one I have in my house, we look at this, you need an 8-inch space between that. If you put it on the ceiling, suddenly you have a lot of clearance in the room. It's not hidden behind the furniture. The kids aren't blocking it every time they run around. One of the easiest things to do is set the screen size you actually have, and then that will actually tell you how far you need to put it. If you have a 120-inch screen you want to use, you're going to need to get that 14 feet away from the screen, or you are going to have a lot of screen that is empty with the image in the middle of it. That's totally no good.
And I like too that that's also indicating that because of the distance you're dealing with and the screen size, you're going to have a lot of extra light if you're dealing with a room that's well lit. Now, getting it installed, really, it's finding a secure mount location. So even if you know what to do, it's still a matter of going into the room and finding where that stud is to put that mount on there securely. For most projectors, they're going to be heavy enough to where you probably don't want to just put it through drywall or hang it from something like that. But
do you start with the physical mount that attaches to the projector, or do you start with finding out whether or not there's something you can actually mount the projector to in the ceiling without, like, you know, having to run something across multiple spans or
get a couple of mount options just in case you have to go from one design to the other. Maybe an inch or two in terms of the mounting bracket means all the difference in the world of being able to get more than just one single fastener into a connection point. But I think more importantly is really power and your video sources. Power in particular is the tough one. You basically need if you're not going to run an extension cord hanging from the ceiling, you're going to have a power plug up there of some kind.
When I rewired my house, I ran 120 volt AC to the approximate area of the ceiling where the projector would go, and I ran an HDMI line up there, so I wouldn't have to deal with running a, you know, basically like hiding 120 volts in some sort of strip across the ceiling. There's ways to hide those cables, but you still end up with something across the ceiling, you know, and down the wall to the nearest plug if you don't actually run power to the ceiling.
Totally. Now for HDMI or getting the video signal to the projector, there are some great options. Some projectors nowadays incorporate wireless HDMI built right in. Here's an example of an Epson. They're 5020UB. The E on the end of that signifies that it has the wireless HDMI built in. Pretty handy, but you know what? Maybe you have a projector that doesn't have that built in. You can always go with a product like this for about 200 bucks. This will, the DVDO Air 3, streams 1080p video very, very well. And we've shown this off on our November 28th HD Nation episode. This does this with a wireless connection that you can actually run the receiver off of the USB port on the projector itself, saving you from even having to plug that in at the other end. So what it really comes down to is that, look, there is no excuse. Consider a projector for your man cave, your playroom, your living room. And when you do it, think about where you're going to mount it, because that can mean all the world of difference in terms of how good that image quality is going to be and to protect your investment over the long term.
Seriously. You can spend $25,000 for a 100-inch, you know, LED, or 40 grand for an OLED, or you can do what I did, spend less than $1,000 for a projector and get all the glory that is season 2 of House of Cards from Netflix. They're a sponsor, netflix.com/HDNation. Support them, support the show, get House of Cards. Season 1's amazing. Our producer's in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of season 2, and there's so much more up on Netflix. But let me tell you something, netflix.com/HDNation. Support us, keep the show coming to you, and get amazing content in your face each and every day or night. One low monthly fee. I love it so much. Oh my goodness. Apple TV, you found the most amazing thing on Reddit.
I have to say, I knew a few of these tips in terms of getting the most out of your Apple TV and it being one of the most popular streaming options out there. This particular thread, though, on Reddit had some great tips and suggestions in terms of how to get the most out of this product and customize it for really how you want it to look in terms of the shortcuts. And, you know, everyone loves this little puck of a box. And I just have to give that credit to Reddit for actually showing off some of these. A few of them I knew, but a few were like, I didn't know you could do that. But let's just start with arranging the apps on screen itself. Easy enough. You hold down the select button. It gives you that all familiar jiggle. And once that's happening, you then use the directional controls to rearrange the apps to your heart's content.
That is so awesome.
Now, I thought it was also pretty cool that maybe you're buried in a menu somewhere and you need to get back to this. The quick shortcut for that is just to hold down the menu button, and that brings you right back to the app screen. So from right there, if you just hold down, bam, takes you right back to that top screen. So no matter how far in you go to make adjustments or other changes, you can get right back now. Now, one I thought was really cool was the ability to hide unwanted apps via the parental controls.
Well, okay, so you go into settings. You go into settings. There we go. Go into general, restrictions, turn on restrictions. One. I love setting passwords. One. Should have just said 1,000, sorry. Done, and okay, I'm keeping my passcode in a safe place. I can set rental and control settings. Oh, wait, am I tired of my child watching anime? I can make it disappear. I can hide it.
You're able to go through each app and actually hide them individually. So if you want to declutter your app menu, that's a great way to do it.
I'm tired of my wife watching Bloomberg. I'm going to turn off that financial news. Ha ha.
I think it's pretty cool though. And then finally, the last tip was just if you want to put the Apple TV into off or standby really quickly, just press and hold down the pause play button on the remote for a second or two, and it just goes right to sleep. And if you want to bring it right back, do the exact same thing again.
Look, I have Muppet face. I'm so excited. Thank you, Reddit. Alika writes in, hey HD Nation, I was watching your YouTube video about the Chromecast. I was wondering if I already have a Samsung Smart TV, can I still use the Google Chromecast or even the Apple TV? Will it work? Thank you very much. If you can answer my question from Alika. Yes, you are golden. As long as you have an open HDMI port, you can plug anything in your HDTV you want. You don't have to use the built-in apps. If you have an older Blu-ray player or an older HDTV, you may not be able to use the built-in apps if they haven't been maintained. Not so much of a problem for Samsung, a big issue for some of the older, smaller, lesser-known vendors.
Yeah, I'd be a little hesitant to maybe double up on apps that are built into your TV that function well already.
Right.
Find out if you'd actually get the full function out of a new product you're plugging in before you go replacing stuff you already have. That'd be my only little caveat to the whole deal. But otherwise, no fear. Plug in your devices and have fun.
Some responses we received from our recent discussion of the best way to handle difficult HDTV screen cleaning scenarios. Gerard writes in, hello HD Nation. The absolute best thing I have found for cleaning my various screens from TV to iPad is eyeglass cleaning spray. Cuts through grime, doesn't streak, dries quickly, is £10 a bottle at my local opticians, and they throw in a microfiber cleaning cloth. Your mileage may vary, but so far it has always worked for me. Gerard from Dublin, Ireland.
Hey, and John writes in, when my kids were small, I had a giant bottle of Monster Screen Clean. This seems to be a popular product.
This is why I have a projector and a screen.
And the blue lint-free cloth that came with it. It worked on everything, my plasma, my computer screen. It saved me many times. Great show, signed John from Brooklyn. And I have to say, over the weekend, I was over at a friend's house, and he pulled out a bottle of that Monster Screen Clean and did up a friend's notebook that was incredibly dirty, and it did it spotlessly. So there are other options in addition to, we were talking about, what was it, getting crayon off of a screen and other very, very difficult to clean.
YouTube.com/HDNation or subscribe at HDNation. Basically, go to revision3.com/HDNation if you want to subscribe on iTunes or something, YouTube.com/HDNation. If you're on the YouTubes, comment down below at HDNation on Twitter, HDNation at revision3.com. If you want to email us, oh, I cut you off there. Sorry.
No, not even, man. Do email us your comments, your questions, or your suggestions, and post them right down below, too, if you don't want to do that. Tweet us as well. And until next time, thank you for watching.